What if I told you World War II reinvented modern global warfare? This war changed not only nations, but the very battlefield itself. Gone were trenches of World War I. Speed and mobility now dominated. Blitzkrieg tactics used tanks, aircraft, and infantry together for shocking victories. Poland, France, and much of Europe collapsed quickly under this new strategy. Suddenly, warfare became about how fast you moved, not how deep. Armored tanks replaced horses, rocket launchers replaced bayonets, and mobility defined strength. Machine guns reached terrifying efficiency, forcing armies into mobile defensive doctrines worldwide. Air power emerged as the true king of modern military might. Strategic bombers like the B-29 destroyed cities, industries, and civilian morale. For the first time, skies determined outcomes more than ground troops. Fighters like the Spitfire and Messerschmitt became legends shaping aerial warfare forever. This dominance inspired modern stealth bombers, drones, and precision-guided missile strikes today. Think Iraq, Afghanistan, or Ukraine. Air supremacy shaped every modern military decision. On the seas, battleships lost glory while aircraft carriers rose supreme. Pearl Harbor proved carriers were now deadlier than any giant floating gun. The Pacific Theater became a laboratory for naval air warfare dominance. Amphibious landings like Normandy redefined large-scale invasions for future global conflicts worldwide. Submarines terrorized supply lines, creating today's nuclear-powered, missile-launching underwater giants. But perhaps the deadliest shift was in weapons technology itself. Nazi V-2 rockets were humanity's first long-range ballistic missiles ever deployed. They inspired Cold War nuclear missiles still threatening global survival every day. Napalm, flamethrowers, and incendiary bombs introduced horrors never seen in wars before. Civilian cities became targets, blurring lines between battlefields and homes forever. Then came Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the dawn of the nuclear age. One bomb now equaled armies, reshaping diplomacy, strategy, and global political order. Nuclear deterrence became the Cold War doctrine, peace maintained through mutual destruction. Even today, nuclear weapons influence conflicts from North Korea to Eastern Europe. World War II also pushed chemical and biological warfare experiments into darker territory worldwide. Japan's Unit 731 tested biological agents, shocking humanity with terrifying potential consequences. Modern treaties banned such weapons, but Syria showed dangers remained terrifyingly alive. Beyond battlefields, World War II turned economies into decisive weapons themselves. America's factories outproduced Axis powers, flooding allies with tanks, planes, and ammunition. This concept of economic warfare evolved into today's crippling international sanctions. Look at sanctions on Russia or Iran, direct descendants of World War II strategies. The war also accelerated technologies shaping modern conflicts: radar, sonar, and computers. Even the internet traces its origins to wartime code-breaking and communication. Drones and satellites today are extensions of those desperate wartime innovations. From battlefield intelligence to cyber warfare, WWII laid foundations for today's digital conflicts. And let's not forget, the war changed alliances forever worldwide. NATO formed directly to prevent another World War-scale catastrophe in Europe. The United Nations was created to mediate peace and cooperation globally. Cold War proxy wars like Korea and Vietnam followed World War II's global blueprint. Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria also echo strategies born during that war. Even today's Ukraine conflict reflects armored assaults and air dominance legacies. Every modern battle plan whispers lessons first learned in World War II. Wars are no longer isolated. They are global, technological, economic, and strategic. Entire populations now matter. Industry, propaganda, and information became crucial military tools. World War II showed victory required factories, scientists, civilians, and soldiers working together. Women entering the workforce transformed not just economies, but entire societies permanently. The global map shifted, colonies collapsed, superpowers rose, and nations redefined independence. World War II wasn't just a war, it was a world reset. It birthed new doctrines, new institutions, and new fears that still linger. Nuclear deterrence, alliances, and economic sanctions dominate international relations to this day. Modern warfare became about speed, power, technology, and above all, control. The battlefield moved from trenches to skies, seas, economies, and cyberspace. Tanks, missiles, drones, and sanctions are the grandchildren of WWII innovations. Global conflicts today can be traced back to strategies forged back then. The world we live in was molded by that brutal conflict, and the question remains, have we truly learned or repeated history differently?